Hey, we're Damn the Wolves. I'm Jody.
I'm Rick.
And I want to be Tico Torres, but I am Brett.
And you're listening to Now That's What I Call Damn Good Music,
The podcast.
So today we are talking about the fourth studio album by New Jersey rock band Bon Jovi. The album is actually called New Jersey, from New Jersey. Do you think that took much thinking about?
Possibly not.
I think it's about the New Jersey attitude, isn't it? That's why it's called that.
Mm.
Recorded between the 1st of May and the 31st of July 1988 at Little Mountain Studios in Vancouver, Canada, with legendary producer Bruce Fairbairn, who sadly isn't with us anymore.
Was Bob Rock involved?
Bob Rock was the mix engineer and engineer
Okay.
on this.
What about Randy Stubb?
No, I think he worked with Bob Rock after
Okay.
Bob Rock separated with Bruce Fairbairn. Do you know any other albums that Bruce Fairbairn has produced?
Yes.
Go on then.
Slippery and Wet.
Yes.
There we go.
He also did Permanent Vacation, Pump and Get a Grip by Aerosmith. He did Van Halen's Balance, I believe. AC/DC, In Excess, Kiss.
I bet he did Bryan Adams as well at that time.
No, I don't think he did.
Oh.
Yeah. So this was released on the 19th of September 1988, less than a year after the end of their massive Slippery When Wet tour, which is quite amazing. Actually, only a little more than 2 years after the release of Slippery When Wet as well, which is amazing. How many copies do you think this has sold? Oh. So we all know, so we should probably just say, we all know Slippery When Wet was the big one, for Bon Jovi, which went on to sell
what did that sell?
millions.
How many did that sell?
I think it's in the region of like 20, late 20s.
Okay.
28 million, something like that.
I reckon this one sold 12 to 15.
I reckon it sold 30.
More than Slippery When Wet.
Yes.
He's just said that was the big selling one. He can't have sold more.
But
It's sold around 19 million to date.
Oh.
New Jersey, which is, not too shabby.
My mic stand's drooping. Sorry, that's the noise.
Dear, not again.
Yeah.
This was the follow-up to the massive Slippery When Wet album, and we've chosen to do this one instead of Slippery When Wet for your benefit, haven't we, Brett?
I've stayed quiet up to now. The thing is, and I ain't going to lie, when I was 12, I was Brett Tico Steptoe. So I'm a massive, massive fan of Tico Torres. He's been part of my journey all my life, pretty much, and I love him. And this album has, well, all the early Bon Jovi stuff, but I think more fittingly, this album has a big part of my heart and life goes to this album. I love it, everything about it. So yeah, so I'm excited to do this. So you kind of doing this for me, but you're a fan, Joe, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yep, I was obsessed as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
A Bon Jovi obsessee.
I've got a story. I mean, whether you want the story or not, I mean, I can give you the story.
Is it clean?
Well, yeah, it's clean.
Go on then.
But it's the story about how I first heard, and it's a real poignant moment of my life. How I heard this, and I had a friend. Have I mentioned Martin with the denim jacket and the patches?
Yes.
So he was in my tutor group, and he was the scary guy that was like really cool and long hair, and I was the little square with the bob cut and all this lot. And he had the headphones on, and I went over and I plucked up the courage to say what he's listening to, and he was listening to this album, and it's the first time I just was introduced to them, and I thought this is really, really cool, and I loved it. And the same day I had my first ever go on a drum kit in school in the music department, and while I was playing the drums, the girl that I'd fancied for 6 months came in and asked me out, and I was like, "You're joking."
No way. That's a big day.
That's a big day to be
Is
introduced.
that where that link in your brain comes from?
Yeah. So you think about it, I got introduced to Bon Jovi, I played drums for the first time, and then I got asked out by the hottest girl in school. She was amazing as well. So that's why, partly why, and from that led me on to bacon tins and knitting needles at home, and from then I obsessed about Tico and wanting to play drums.
I was worried where that was going.
I was worried where that was going for a minute.
That led me on to,
yeah.
stop.
But my whole fashion square haircut, disappeared, and then suddenly I had like the quiff, and I turned into like a young man overnight, I think.
You're like a blonde Tico Torres.
Did you dye your hair black and perm it slightly?
No, but I did wear eyeliner. Not that he ever did.
I was going to say he didn't, did he?
No, but I had a sister that was into The Cure, so she thought it'd be really cool. Dressed me up like Robert Smith. So I had a long
Totally
black duffel
unrelated.
coat and eyeliner for about a week until I got detention for wearing bad clothes at school.
So do you remember which song you heard first? Is there one in particular that drew you in?
I think it was Bad Medicine. I think I remember the intro, and I remember and I thought, oh, that's really cool, that sound. And then the band came in, so I think it was probably Bad Medicine, something like that,
Yeah. Cool.
What about you, Jody? Because you were an Uber fan. When you were a kid.
Yeah, I can't remember where I was or what I heard first from this. I can't even remember whether I heard something from Slippery and Wet first.
Do you remember why you became obsessed? Where that came from?
No, not really. It was. I've obviously grown out of it now, thankfully. It's. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I can't decide whether I was just an impressionable teenager, looking for a role model, or what I was. But I remember at the time, I thought John Bon Jovi was the coolest guy ever.
And I think we both know that they were on the back of this. There was the Access All Areas. Well, I had it on VHS, but it was like the coolest thing to ever watch, and
which is a tour documentary, isn't it?
Which is a tour documentary, which is like 288 dates, I believe, over 2
based
years.
on this album.
Based on this album, world tour, and it was like the coolest thing, and everything, every shot, every scene is just you just wanted to be them.
I think that's probably what it was for me. Where I probably heard something and then got that video, as it was then on VHS, good old VHS, and then watched it and just thought, that's what I want to do. Because it was just, everything was so cool. So cool. And then watched it to death, and then
we've watched it many a time, haven't we, Jay?
We've had a few evenings, haven't we, watching that, reminiscing.
You're a Bon Jovi fan, Rick?
I don't know. Is the honest answer, because I never had a choice.
It's a weird one, isn't it? We've had this discussion. Like
it was played to death when we were kids by Jody, and so they've never been a band where I thought, I know, I'll put that on and listen to it.
Because it was already on.
Because it was always on, always on. And I knew it all, and everyone laughs about the fact that, that sounds like a Bon Jovi thing. It's like, it's never deliberate. It's just stuck in my head thanks to Jody. So I didn't.
You're a bit bitter then.
No, not bitter.
It sounds bitter.
It's just I don't have an opinion. I don't know. It's always been there. It's never been.
You're making it sound like you never got to discover your own.
This could
I did my own. I was listening to my own stuff.
Weirdly, though, I mean, without going into kind of a history too much, but when I came out of this kind of phase where I
was it a closet?
Liked Bon Jovi, well, I don't. Maybe it was. I don't know.
The Bon Jovi closet
was probably through you and you. Whereas I listen to New Jersey and then Keep the Faith these days endlessly, you then began to listen to stuff like Counting Crows endlessly, which then
I did do that. Yeah,
I really like this, and that kind of drew me away from my,
been the only time
my number one love.
You've only ever listened to me then.
Yes, probably.
See, when my sister moved out and like the Cure and all that lot went,
I'm like Jody's bigger sister with the Cure and the eyeliner, but with Counting Crows.
Well, I had to discover my own, and sort of like I kind of then I think maybe it's because I got into girls and stuff. I don't know, but I suddenly discovered your Sheryl Crows, in the early 90s, and your Alanis's, and I think I kind of steered along that path a little bit away from this. But there's always part of me. It's always been there.
It's a part of, for me, Bon Jovi were a massive part of my original interest in music.
Me too, not that I had a choice about it.
Yeah, but and that, as we say, watching Access All Areas was just all I ever wanted to do as a 13, 14, 15-year-old.
And, after 30 years, I decided to get something to document my 30 years of playing. And
Is it a DVD?
No, it's... Oh. I got Tico, didn't I?
I thought you were going to say I got it on DVD.
So he's there.
I got Tico.
He's on my forearm. So every time my forearm goes up and down...
so does Tico.
And I have you two are terrible. I'm talking about when I'm playing, mainly my hi-hat. And and I've got the word inspire at the bottom.
It's got too many bad connotations.
Honestly, you
Have
two,
you? I
dreadful.
didn't realise you had inspire.
No, where's that written?
Yeah, at the bottom.
Of what?
Tico,
Oh, okay.
he's there.
Very cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
cool.
very
You'll
cool.
have to put a picture of that up.
I'll
Brett,
put a
so
picture
that-
of it
yeah.
up because that's how much he as a player influenced and means to me.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. I haven't gone that far. But there we are.
I've got a little Superman logo tattooed on my arm.
Right, let's get going on this album, shall we?
Yes.
So that's why we've chosen Bon Jovi New Jersey and not Bon Jovi Slippery and Wet, because these songs connected to Access All Areas have more kind of a historic meaning and kind of, we're quite attached to them.
I wanted to do these days.
Yeah, well, we'll
I
talk
was
about that at a
outvoted.
later date.
Yeah.
We'll have to come back to that one.
All right.
So did you know, Rick, you may not or may not have known this, this was famously going to be a double album.
Yeah, I probably knew that. I've just forgotten.
There's a lot of demos.
Yeah, they wrote a lot of songs.
Is that the deluxe edition that you two have been listening to?
Yes, there is now a super deluxe edition with the demos out. But for years they were, for us fans, they were like, everyone dreamed of getting their hands on these recordings because there was just really bad bootlegs of them kicking around for years.
Was there a song called Rosie on it,
Yes.
which ended up on Richie Sambora's solo album?
Yes.
So I know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Was there a song called Mr. Sambo?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. That's as much as I know clearly.
That's it.
All right.
Interestingly, the first song that they wrote for or one of the first songs they wrote for the New Jersey sessions was a song called Love Is War. And apparently John was so desperate to relive what they'd experienced with Slippery and Wet that they wrote this song, and it's actually got exactly the same chord sequence.
No
So like
way.
when you listen to it, you can actually kind of sing "You Give Love a Bad Name" over the top of it.
Oh, You Give Love a Bad Name from
Yes.
Slipper and Wet. Okay.
Yeah, from Slippery and Wet. Yeah.
And that was recycled from an earlier song that was called Shot Through the Heart, wasn't it? Or was it just the lyric?
What's that? You give love a bad name. I think it was just the lyric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they recorded all these songs, which you can now get as demos, and they were put to the pizza parlor jury, which they used on Slippery and Wet, where they got a bunch of fans in, listened to the songs, and then they kind of went with what the fans' favourites were, which at the time, apparently, the press thought was a really sort of a uncool move.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
it wasn't a marketing ploy. It wasn't just
No,
a
it
PR
wasn't. It was,
stunt.
I
It
think-
was actually something they did.
Yeah, they took it to the fans, thinking they would be the
Better
pick
judges
their
than-
favourites.
yeah.
Yeah. I suppose
Okay.
you know what it's like when you've written a song. You kind of
Yeah.
you're so involved with it that you lose kind of context of what it is.
I don't know what it's like to have fans.
No, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Only fans?
No.
I can tell you all about that.
Are you still on it? Are
I've
you?
got 3.
Oh,
Right,
dear.
let's get stuck in.
Mother
Those
subscribed
Tico-
because
those-
she got confused about the whole thing. So mother subscribed.
Oh,
Oh,
I
no.
have to tell her what it was about. I'm only joking. Come on, let's crack on.
yeah, let's crack on. Track number 1, "Lay Your Hands on Me."
Right. Do you want me to say
Was
something?
that you or Brett that made that noise?
I don't know what. I was going to just let that noise of Brett's go, then talk for a minute. I wasn't quite sure what it was doing.
Something with Tico.
I think it's a great intro. I think it's a great live intro, and I think it's reminiscent of their song on their last album, "Raise Your Hands," which is just a live thing, isn't it? It's just a Kiss 80s style.
Yeah.
Put your hands up. Live
It
song.
feels like it's a continuation of the conversation with their fans, where they left them in Slippery and Wet at the end of their tour, and this is like them saying hello again, isn't it?
I do like the. Oh, sorry. Can we go into specifics? I was gonna already talk about the because I re-listened to this.
I don't know
'cause
whether.
thought-
But do you want to talk about the drum part, Brett, in the intro?
Well, I like the fact that like when you press play, there's nothing, and it's like that suspense of what's happening, and it just the fade in of the track comes in, doesn't it? And
yeah,
it's the drum part that hits you, isn't it, from the start? But it's like really quiet, and it just builds and builds and builds, and it just sits there, and it's just I played that, learning to play drums all my life. That part, it's just lovely, isn't it? It's that big, massive, fat drum sound that comes in, that 80s production.
I was going to, while we're talking about the drum sound, the songs later on it, "Living in Sin" and is it "Blood on Blood"? Those ones really stood out with the the classic snare drum reverb. What they always used to say about the was it a bowling ball and a birthday cake style
Oh,
reverb?
it's-
When there's space around it and you hear it, it's massive.
I
The
know.
reverb, isn't it?
I'd love to have
that
been in the
gated-
room and heard how the drums sound without any of that stuff on there. Just how big the drums were. How
I'm
much production.
presuming Tico uses pretty hefty kind of drum sizes for that bigger sound.
Yeah, he was a
fuller
pearl
sound.
player, wasn't he? He had the big. Well, for the drummers out there, I think he had a 12, 13, 16 and 18.
Is that tattooed on your arm as well, underneath?
No, I was going to say something. No, it's not. No, with a 22 by 18 kick drum, two
Yes.
of them. There you go.
So the Lay Your Hands on Me was an ideal opening song, wasn't it?
Oh,
do you reckon they must have written it as
Yeah,
a
I think
kind of
it's written as a
arena
as an opening,
stadium
yeah.
opening song?
It's that part where is it a Hammond that kicks in through that intro as well? As
Yeah, it's
building,
like a
you just get
distorted
that-
distorted
Oh,
organ.
mm.
It's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
Make my organ distorted. Listen to it.
Oh God.
Still does.
Oh no. Look out, Tico's going mad.
He's going up and down again.
Oh, he's playing 16th notes. Oh, man.
Oh no!
We haven't even got past the intro of the first track yet.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to change the subject a little bit. Reminiscent of this bit is I remember you, Jody, watching was it Moscow Music Peace Festival where
yeah.
John Bon Jovi walks down the middle to
Yes.
this intro with a
Yeah.
big coat on?
Yeah,
I remember
you watching that loads.
not the same girlfriend because we split up, but the girlfriend after her had
Second hottest girl in school.
she had what was it called back then? Terrestrial TV or Sky?
Sky.
Yeah, but I mean she had the dish, so I was allowed to stay over. So I think it was on at like 3 or 4 in the morning, wasn't it?
Jody used
I
to
don't
watch it
know.
on a
It was
video.
on
Well, I remember
VHS.
watching it live. I was like, I have to watch this, and she let me sit down, and I remember that. Specifically remember him walking down, thinking,
Yeah.
and I was just like,
See, you were thinking coolest guy in the world.
oh, totally, yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, amazing. It's interesting that they on the recording there's a breakdown, isn't there, with the organ and the kind of the chorus
ride
line.
cymbal.
Yeah, and the chorus line, and then the song kicks in.
And I'd only noticed re-listening to it. It's a key change, isn't it?
Is it?
That when it's just that vocal with the ooze and all that beat, there's a massive arranged choir sort of thing going on, isn't there? And
Yeah.
it's in A. Changes to D, doesn't it, when the riff kicks in?
Mm.
And they do that. I've only just noticed how much they do that when I listen to the album. It's a bit of a theme throughout the album. when
Yeah,
they do
there's a
that.
lot of key changes into pre-choruses, isn't there?
There's a lot of key changes. Yeah, where it starts in a different key, which is quite cool. I
Yeah.
never noticed that at the time.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Yeah,
It's worth listening back.
and it's a good riff, isn't it? For
It's a
sort of
great
80s
great
rock
riff.
guitar riff, and it's
It's
slow
not
and
an
swag.
obvious-
It's slow and swaggery, isn't it? It's really good.
Yeah, and Tico's kind of sat on the backbeat.
The
with
thing
that
is
one,
with
isn't he?
Tico, all the way through his career, but this album particularly is that he's so clever at being able to like trust himself to have that space. He'll play like real slow grooves and just have a quarter note, big bell ride thing where everyone else would be playing to fill those notes, and he just had that trust to just have that big quarter note bell thing going on.
Mm.
Just incredible.
Yeah,
Talk about him all day.
yeah. I'm a particular fan of the drop D bass in this as well.
Yeah, it's drop D guitar too, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. But when it goes into the chorus, because it's the bass follows the guitar, doesn't it? In the riff sections, but then you just get that kind of dung 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 in the chorus where it's on the low D. Works a treat.
Is it that offbeat into the chorus, that ride cymbal sound that you're on about, Brett? It sounds like there's an offbeat ride bell when it goes into that just before it goes into the chorus. Is that a bit-
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, throughout the album, there's a lot of the bell. He likes to hit the bell, doesn't he? What?
Which Tico? The one on your arm?
Obviously, it's about bass playing, Joey. I mean, it was. I guess everyone Bon Jovi fans know it was Hugh McDonald that recorded everything.
Yeah,
on this.
Hugh McDonald is playing bass on all of this. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And not Alec. He obviously was playing. The
No,
live stuff.
sadly not Alec.
He's no longer with us. Bless him.
Yeah,
Isn't he?
No.
Has he died?
Last year?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he,
before.
Blimey.
out of the
Just,
blue.
just after COVID, wasn't it? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Mm.
Oh, crikey.
Yes, Hugh McDonald on the bass. I'll mention the bass a lot because his bass playing, I think, is phenomenal.
It is on this album. It's brilliant,
It's
isn't
phenomenal.
it?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But live as well, isn't it? Ever since, I mean, he's just like.
Well, ever since the mid '90s, he played bass on everything from Slippery up,
Mhm.
and Runaway from the first album, and then he was the recording bass player.
But he was
wasn't
never
the live
featured, was
bass
he?
player.
Never featured in like the albums or
No.
anything up until recently, where
Yeah,
he was.
after '95, he
Mhm.
was the bass player.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a great opening track.
Best before we move on,
Yep.
best moment of the song is John Bon Jovi's voice when he says, "I've been to school."
Yeah, I've got my favourite vocal moment notes.
Oh,
And,
that-
yeah. I've been to school with that.
Oh.
harmonic at the end.
How do you get that?
Well, when I was having singing lessons as a teenager,
Teach me to sing like John Bon Jovi,
Yeah.
please.
No, I basically took the recording of "I'll Be There for You," which we'll talk about later, where the band stops and he hits the high.
Yeah.
That's
That
you
one.
got it, Brett.
I know. One take.
How many singing lessons did that take?
And he said it's essentially a harmonic he's making with his voice.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yes,
Is he trying to compete with all of those pinched harmonics that Richie does all over the place?
there's
that's what
there's
it
a
is?
bit of that going on.
Richie Sambora being the guitar player.
Yeah, it was actually something that Bruce Springsteen did in the 80s. He had that because Bruce has got that kind of like very gruff kind of working
Gravelly.
man's gravelly voice.
Yeah.
And he did it a lot in the mid 80s. So I think it's something that John must have.
I heard some, so I'll mention that later. I heard a lot of Springsteenisms in this album, re-listening to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, track 2, Bad Medicine. This was a number 1.
Was it?
Yes.
Yes.
Was this
number
the
one
first single
in
off the
USA. I believe it was. Yeah. And do you remember the video for this?
Yeah, when they all queuing up outside.
Yeah.
Did they all have like old school camcorder type things?
That's
and
the
they gave
one.
them out to members of the audience or
Yep.
something, and then
Very good kind of ploy to get your crowd involved, get the
Mm.
audience involved, make everyone feel like they're part of the Bon Jovi sort of family.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying it's their fault that everybody now has cameras and camera phones at concerts and films it? Maybe they started that.
They were pioneers.
Were they the first people to do that?
They were the pioneers of it. The first thing that strikes me listening back to Bad Medicine, because I've listened to a lot of this for a long time, is the bass line. How good the bass is in this.
It's good. The syncopated and the interplay between the guitar and bass and the drums and the groove is really good, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
The chorus. It's great.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
it starts
really
with,
good.
doesn't it? It starts with a chorus.
Yeah.
This is a Desmond Child co-write, isn't it? This song, because I think I can hear that in it.
I don't know. Is it?
I think it is. I can hear it.
You reckon?
Yeah. Write in if I got it wrong.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah.
I like the. I'll talk about positives because I don't want to be like, because I've listened to these by accident so much. Is the guitar part in the verse? It's got a real ZZ Top, Billy Gibbons style, that half cocked wah thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know about them, Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, half cock?
That means something different to Brett.
That kind of nasally filtered sound of leaving a wah crybaby pedal on like halfway, and yeah, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Played in double stops.
I'd heard the backing vocals in this, and to me, it doesn't sound like Richie,
Ooh.
which I thought was interesting. And then going through the album, there's a few other points where it's clearly John doing the main backing vocal part.
Oh yeah, his voice,
which is interesting, isn't it? You think, with Richie having the voice he's got and the way they complement each other.
Do you think
why
that's
they
to
would
do
that?
with not having that character in there, or not having the lead vocal overpowered, but have the lead vocal supported and thickened by more
Possibly.
of the similar tone?
Possibly, or it could just be as simple as Richie wasn't in the studio that day and John did it.
I've got another question for you. While we're talking about John's voice and Richie's voice, do you think, because
I think
John
they're
Bon
like
Jovi's
peas and
knackered
carrots.
he's knackered his voice a bit now, hasn't he? Bless him. Yeah. Do you think it stems from him, because Richie Sambora's got a very soulful, kind of powerful voice? I'm not saying better or worse or whatever, and do you think that sort of competition in those days is what put stress on his voice?
I don't think it was any kind of competition.
You don't think it was that?
Because I think if a lot of people will say, "Oh, Richie's got a better voice," and
I didn't say that.
no, but lots of people do.
Okay.
I don't say that either.
It's different, isn't it? It's totally different.
But they are
different
Brent,
voices.
Yeah.
Turn into The Office.
Well, we're allowed to express opinion. This is our podcast, so we can say what we think.
Okay.
Good or bad.
This
I
album
think
drives
when-
me mad because you played it so much as a kid. I've got to say it.
I think when you listen to John on this, Keep the Faith, these days, he is an absolutely fantastic singer.
Oh, I'm not saying he isn't, but I'm
nobody
saying
can
he's
fault that. And if you
damaged
listen
his
to
voice.
Richie, he's a fantastic singer. And together, they're like you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
they're
Peas
like
and
they
carrots.
are like peas and carrots,
But
as
if-
Forrest Gump would say, because they work so well.
But if Richie was fronting Bon Jovi,
Oh, he hasn't
it
got.
wouldn't
Yeah, no,
work,
but
No,
would it? He
well,
hasn't-
that's a personality, charisma, stagecraft, all those
But
things.
Richie will go on stage and do his thing on his own projects and be in a totally comfortable space, and people will love him because he can mix his
Yep.
guitar playing with
I
his.
saw Richie Sambora's solo thing supporting Bad Company.
I know you did.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
I think that might have been when he was in his
Drunk.
drinking years.
Well, yeah, I had a couple as well. It didn't,
It didn't help.
I think you probably would have fared far worse if you were on the stage singing. with a
possibly, yeah,
microphone.
yeah. I'm not saying I could do better. That's not what I meant. But now you said we can be honest.
Oh dear. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yes, we are.
I don't think John's voice in later days is related to any competition with Richie. I think
Okay.
it's just wear and tear. You know, they did long tours, and he sang hard and really well for a lot of years. And I think
Just pushed it.
it's just it. You know, it is what it is. But it would be nice to think that maybe he could get something back, and the pair of them get back together and do something great again.
It's interesting because someone like Springsteen pushes himself, doesn't he? It still does. And it hasn't. It's just biology, I guess.
it's
Is it?
yeah.
It's
all
the
in-
40th anniversary, isn't it, next year?
Of what?
Of Bon Jovi. That's what they're building up towards.
Of them,
isn't
is it? Ooh.
So you never know.
So
Blimey.
hopefully.
Is this the 40th this year? It's 2023. 2023.
Yeah, it was. They played with Kiss in
83.
83 at Cornwall Coliseum.
Yes, that was
Maybe it's
84, I
this-
think.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't want to go Uber fan on you, but you're wrong. Anyway, we're getting off topic. So that's Bad Medicine. Anyone else got any thoughts on Bad Medicine?
I just want to play that fiddle all the time with the big.
Yeah. Any favourite moments? I've got some favourite vocal moments.
Go on. What's your favourite vocal moment?
When the word "on," when he says "when you're on your knees," in the first
yeah.
pre-chorus
Yeah.
is very strong.
Wow.
And the bit that I think you're referring to, Brett, if there's something better, baby, well, they haven't found it yet.
Do you want to do it?
You do it. I'm not singing it. You
Go
play
on.
it.
Do you want to sing?
Jesus.
Whoa.
That's the bit.
Doesn't sound like the canon that
No,
Tico produces, but that's the.
Give me a minute. I can go in there post production.
Track 3, Born to Be My Baby. So for me, listening back to this, I think this is a great song.
Mm-hmm.
It's the intro is just like Springsteen.
Yep.
You know, the 2, 3, 4. That's a Springsteen live thing.
Yeah.
And again, the bass line,
Yeah, it's great. isn't it?
unbelievable. It's so good. I challenge you to go back and listen to that song after this podcast, and just listen to the bass.
He
I
just
have
does clever things, doesn't he? The run. He just does these little tiny runs within a quaver kind of pumpy thing, but just puts the notes that he puts in. Just seems to give it something like. Yeah.
That flies back in here.
Oh no.
This is one of the ones with a great key change in it as well.
Yeah, going into the pre-chorus.
Well, the verse is in I reckon it's in F sharp minor,
F sharp minor, yeah.
but that's the relative minor of A major, isn't it? And then the pre-chorus and chorus are in A minor.
Yes.
So that's quite a cool change.
Yeah.
For any music
It feels
theory.
like a good change without it feeling like a gear, like a big,
Big gear shift.
driver's
But
gear shift change.
Yeah. It's a cool change though.
Yeah. Lyrically, this one's really similar to Living on a Prayer.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know,
They
come off the
revisit
back
that.
of
They
Slippery,
revisit
they've
that quite a lot,
revisited-
don't they?
Yeah, they revisit what they've done well at.
I like the flanger sound on the guitar's cool, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Going on about the half-cocked wire on the last one. Got a bit of flange on this one, Brett.
It can be a bit of flange, but
It's a cracking melodic solo as well, isn't it, from Richie?
Yes. Yeah. Although this period and the album before Slipper and Wet, I always think he's got a weird chorus sound on his guitar, whether it's chorused or whether it's double tracked, and that's what's given it a chorused sound. But he stopped doing it after this. Just interesting.
I always
why.
think Richie's solos, they're sort of put together as though you could almost sing them.
They're constructed. They're definitely constructed, or bits of them are anyway,
Yeah.
which is cool. I like
Yeah.
that melodic kind of the little motifs that he puts in.
I've got a fun fact for you on this one.
mm-hmm.
The acoustic version, which I don't know whether you've heard that or not.
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
I probably have.
That was what they recorded first. And apparently,
What to use on the album?
that's what John wanted to use and release as the first single.
What, that version?
Yep.
Wow.
Because he felt it brought the listener in more, and it sold the story of the characters in the song. But if you listen to it now, how his voice is phenomenal on it. It's proper, like he hasn't held back.
That's probably where he's gone wrong, isn't it?
It's it's gritty. Right, track 4, Living in Sin.
Oh, what a tune.
Oh, I wish the keyboard was. If I had a synth plugged in, that's got a great that synth start, which is a D6, D9, D6, or something like that chord, where it fades up into E, where it just
is he using a modulation?
I don't know how they did it, but you can do it with that.
Yeah.
I wish I'd got a synth plug. It's too much hassle to put it in. Oh,
it's a good keyboard. There's a keyboard melody. I think I probably said this to you two before. Somewhere in this song that goes.
Yeah.
It just works. It just works so nicely. You hear it more on the live versions of it, but very simple production in the first verse of this.
Yeah,
it's the first kind of time you've 3 tracks in. This is the 4th track. You've had a moment to kind of like just have a little bit of space. But listening back to it now, again, I haven't heard this original version for a bit of time. It's really Springsteen-y.
Yep, I could hear that. Really,
and Springsteen had put out Tunnel of Love the year before, 1987, and then you kind of realise that John had obviously listened to that a fair bit.
I think he's listened to Springsteen a fair whack, generally, hasn't he?
Yeah.
This is one of the moments I was talking about having the space. It's a slow groove, isn't it? This song, and it's having that quarter note bell thing that he does so well. And who else would do that in a production like this, where I don't want to.
Was that a common thing to do back in the day, or is that just the
is that
a producer thing, or is that his style? Is that his playing
style? Because the bell was always used, wasn't it? It's always that big ride sound. But
do you want to give the listeners an example of the bell sound?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that sort of song you would sort of go, whereas Tico would go, you just trust yourself to just play that quarter note and just have that, and that's what inspired me. And I've talked about this loads over the years of why I love that less is more. Have that space.
They were doing it to give the reverb space on the snare. That's why they were doing it. So you can do that.
But I think that's why I became a fan, because from a young person, I was like, I could feel my head move into that thing, and that's what it was. Those things that were making me groove and move, and not
groove and move. There we go. Made a little rhyme.
Hey,
I can see a T-shirt coming.
I've got room under Inspire.
Oh no,
groove and move.
Groove and move.
But there's at the same time there's your Neil Peart's and going on and all the prog rock stuff, and it was all great, and it was like busy, but I was always going back to hearing Tico just doing that, and I think that's why it took me on my path anyway.
Another key change, Rick, into the chorus here.
Yeah Awesome.
I thought so. It goes to the G chord from the E. Is that right?
I can't hear it in my head. Hang on a minute.
I think so.
He hasn't picked his guitar up yet, has he?
No,
thankfully it stayed in the case.
Yeah. It's not in the case though.
Oh no!
I think it's going to pop out.
I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it because
there's a brilliant bass line in the pre-chorus to this as well. I don't know whether your ears.
Yeah, I've re-listening to it before we did this. I picked out loads that I hadn't heard before, just because.
Yeah.
I've to be fair, I don't know how long it's been since I've listened to it like closely.
Yeah. Again,
the bass playing.
Hugh McDonald's knack of making a busy part not sound busy, but just sound really integral to gluing the drums to the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really, really cool. And then that key changes again, doesn't it? Going back into the chorus, goes back to E.
Yeah, what? I'm not going to pick the guitar up now, but I can't think what that key change is in my head.
Yes, there's
if I had the synth
E,
plugged in, I'd work it out on the synth and play the intro, but I haven't.
Thank God for that.
I'll do my own little edition later.
Yes, special edition.
Yeah. What did you call it? The deluxe edition.
The deluxe edition with keyboard.
Yeah.
There's that big John note as well in the end of this, isn't there? Where it.
Oh, that you were talking about earlier, the harmonic that Jody took to his singing teacher.
No, that was the one in "I'll Be There for You." I took to.
I do know the album.
Yeah. In the just going back to the bass there, if you listen to the bass and the vocal melody, again he does this throughout the album, but he picks up key moments of the vocal melody and plays it on bass.
That's another thing I listened back to and didn't realise how keyboard heavy and how good the keyboard parts are and the keyboard sounds. I mean, they're obviously 80s and there's a lot of really cool synth and synth sounds in there, but they're really, really well played and arranged, which they would be. But that stuff often goes unnoticed, doesn't it? And what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think that's what
He's also got a great voice, hasn't he?
David Bryan is.
David
Yeah,
Bryan,
great voice. It's what's nice when you listen back to stuff like this that you haven't listened to for years.
Picking different stuff out.
Yeah, and picking the production stuff out and the parts and the playing. And
He's classically trained as well, there, isn't he?
David Bryan, yeah, I
Yeah.
believe so. Yeah, yeah.
As well as who?
No, I'm just saying he's classically trained.
Oh,
I
as
think
well.
he was
Oh, okay,
saying
all right.
like
As a
as
musician.
well as himself.
Oh, as well as Brett. Brett.
Yeah.
Classically trained as the pots and
not as a
tins and
musician,
bacon
but-
trays.
Yeah. There's a line in the, I think it's the second verse of this, where there's a whispered backing vocal.
Oh, is
I
that?
don't
Did either of
know.
you pick up on that? No, it's the line is talk but still say nothing. But there's this John goes in and talk but still say nothing. That's doubled, and it reminded me of recording a song with our friend Gareth, where he'd written a song that he was.
GB, yep.
No, the other one, the other Gareth
Gareth Young.
Yes.
Oh, him. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
And he'd written a song with a songwriter, and they were pitching it to I think maybe like Steven Tyler or
What was his name? The Spanish guy.
yes,
Enrique
Iglesias.
Iglesias.
Yes. Yeah. And they asked me to come and do a vocal.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
and my brief was sound like John Bon Jovi.
Oh, you must have loved that.
I did. Yes, best day ever. But there was.
Did you get a harmonic scream
had
in
to
there?
do a breathy, didn't
I had to do a
Yeah.
breathy backing vocal.
I remember.
And when I'd forgotten about it, and then when I listened to this "Living in Sin," and I heard this little whispered backing, I was like brought back that memory.
Do it, Joe. Can you remember what it was?
No, I can't remember.
I bet it was tonight.
It was something
tonight.
like that.
Yeah,
was
it
it tonight?
I got warmed up listening to it. It was tonight. I remember thinking, tonight.
God.
Oh dear. Anyway, what's your
I wasn't asked to put some 80s style guitar parts in that. Bit gutted, man.
So just while you're on that subject, Brett,
Oh, no.
because it was one of John's things, wasn't it? Like in the 80s, of like he almost half spoke some lines, which you get at the end of this, don't you? When it drops down after the solo,
Mm-hmm.
Before he goes,
yeah, before you get the big note, he's kind of talking,
Yeah.
half talking the lyrics, which he did a lot. He did it certainly in earlier stuff, and it was something that he did live. Was that something you appreciated?
Yeah. I would,
what, in the same way that he appreciated me
As a-
going,
whether I appreciate it back then or not, I don't know. It was all
Yeah,
about.
I know you were hormonal as a teen.
he still is.
Not like I was back then.
Oh, God.
My favourite vocal moment in this, is, as we previously mentioned, is the high one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah, great. Blood on Blood.
This is
This is
really,
track 5.
listening back to this, it's so Springsteen-y. I think this is really Springsteen-y, this song.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's got U2 vibes in the drum, between the drums and bass?
Or
That kind of tight-
I don't
no,
think Larry
do that.
Mullen would play anything as cool as this.
Since you said be honest, the floodgates are open now, aren't they?
There's a big plecky down a steel in this, isn't there? Rick?
There's a pick scratch in every other bar on this album, I think.
I like Larry Mullen.
There's some big ones in this though.
He was always told to hold back a lot, probably too much. I don't think that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you mean, are you
Like, he's
hearing
talking
U2 in the guitar intro, which I'm not going to play?
I don't know what it.
I'm not
it
gonna
could
play
be.
it.
It's just got. It has a U2
Because you could
vibe for me.
that edge sound of the delayed, that U2 were
Maybe
doing
that's
that
what it
famous
is.
for in the 80s with the delayed guitar sound that the
Yeah.
Edge would do, and it's kind of reminiscent of what Richie's doing on that first thing that you hear that I'm
Maybe
not
that's
going to
what
play.
it is. Yeah, you're right.
Before
yeah.
Brett's plecky down the steel, as
Yeah.
he calls them.
It's great when the band kick in though.
Isn't
That's
it?
a really cool
Oh,
feel.
I
It's a
love-
really
I'm gonna try and play.
uplifting feel.
I love what Tico does over the start of this song. I just love.
I don't know if I can remember it.
It's
Yeah,
busy. It's busy. I mean, he's busy here, but everything he plays just.
It's that sort of thing, isn't it? What's that?
It's the plecky down a steel.
Oh, just checking you're all
For
right.
the audience, that's pick scratch.
I can't do it. That's bad, isn't it?
Put it back.
Yeah, it was better on the stand. It sounded better on the stand.
Do you want me to turn the amp on and do a plecky down the steel?
No. Quick, take the plug out. Yeah,
The groove. When
this
the
song
band
for me,
kicks
yeah,
in.
when it kicks in, it's got a really uplifting
Oh,
kind of,
yeah,
like
totally.
groove.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I broke the guitar stand. Hang on, I'm coming back. I'm back.
The keyboard melody in the chorus I hadn't noticed before, which is it's a real bittersweet melody. It's really good. It's got that kind of reminiscent, like looking back feel to it, which it's amazing when a melody has that, conjures that kind of feeling. Which I really like.
It's a wonderful song.
One of my memories of this song is the because I obviously had to hear live versions because Jody would play it all the time. Is how long it went on live.
It was an easy.
Oh, they
like,
drop out, then they drop
version.
down, and then they build up and drop down again.
But one of the highlights of that, I think it
was when they stopped doing it.
Wait,
he's upsetting me, Brett. He's upsetting
me. Yeah.
Was the sections were just longer. It wasn't kind of added to it. It was just a longer section. But I do remember seeing Richie take the microphone and sing like that like a lead vocal part. I don't know if do you remember. Was that at did they do that at the Moscow Peace Festival? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But it was his voice obviously was when you hear them live, you don't necessarily hear him. He's part of the backing vocal kind of thing with David Bryan and Alec John Such at the time. But when he stepped to the main vocal, the main mic to do a lead vocal part, you're just like, Jesus, he's good.
Mm-hmm.
His solo in this is really good. He does a classic thing that I really like about his solos, where he starts really low, uses really sort of low range notes and low part of the guitar neck. It's really cool. You don't hear a lot of that in this. Well, he doesn't always do it, but you don't hear that in this period of guitar playing quite a lot. And that's cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool. He does it. He even does it in I think he does it in Living on a Prayer actually at the start of that solo as well.
And dare we mention the Tico fill, Brett?
What?
The one that you sneak it out every now and again, don't you?
Which one's that? Which one?
It's the
he's picking his sticks up.
Put the sticks down. It's the one in the middle of the last chorus, or it comes back in the middle of the last chorus. It's at the end of the guitar solo. It's like that.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah. You don't want me to play that, do you?
No, because it'd be noisy.
Right. We're okay.
I have used that. I've used it. Oh, we're using that. Yeah, I've used that a few times. Might be using it currently.
Currently using Tico's fill.
We had a song, didn't we, back in the day? And I said, and I think I described it as the Tico fill, and everyone knew what I was about to come out with, because it was just that. Yeah, it works. It worked for that, didn't it?
Yeah.
You have quite a few of those.
I do. I do.
Unsurprisingly.
Favorite vocal moment?
So when they do this So Young, and it sounds like the little gang of kids. Right at the end.
That's cool. I like that. It's not my favorite. My favorite is the Just Like Blood question and answer bit with John and Richie.
There's more pleckies than a steel over that bit as well, isn't there? Oh, brothers.
Track 6, Homebound Train.
Good. Oh, I've got a harmonica.
What do we think of this?
Do you want me to play the intro on the guitar? No.
What I think about this is
I like the riff.
It sounds like a song that's from a completely different album as far as production goes.
I did.
Is this double kick drums in this?
Hang on a minute.
I drove everyone up the wall with this.
You're going to get me going here now.
And then I played that about 1,000 times, and then nearly got the harmonica shoved somewhere else.
Hang on a minute. If you're doing that,
put the guitar away.
Hang on. I haven't got a slide.
Brett, let's talk about the drum fill at the start.
I know, it's mad, but it's not just the fill; it's the sound. The drum sound on this just sounds.
Is it that?
No, we can't hear you.
All right.
It's notes to that effect.
Yes, but yeah, the drum fill is just nuts, isn't it? It's just mad. It's like double bass drum things and like snare and like this, but the sound is just. You go back and listen to it, and it's a real clicky bass drum. It's not that big wide.
Is that because it's quite busy bass drum wise? I think
possibly.
I think. I said a song "Mr. Sambo" earlier, which is a Richie Sambora instrumental song that appeared on some geeky guitar album that I probably got at this time. I think this song sounds like that. It's really similar riff, really similar groove, and I believe, although I'm not good at these things, that Tico was on that too. And I wonder if it's sort of a recycled.
No, Tico was on that.
One or other was recycled a little bit.
I think this song stemmed from like John going out for lunch or something. This is what I like to think. And he came back and Richie and Tico were like, "We've got an idea," and it was this.
Yeah, it could be
because it sounds like something that is like based around a jam.
Yeah,
and then John's just put lyrics to it.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like to me. I love the really cool. I'm not going to do it. The harmonica and the keyboard doing like an interplay solo
Oh yeah.
before the guitar solo. It just sounds really cool. But that's what makes me think it was maybe a jam where
Yeah.
they're like, David, go, and then he goes, and then the harmonica goes.
I listened to the
and then
demo
literally-
of this week as well.
You also
There's parts of it that like you can tell what they've kept from the original demo, and parts have just been like, no, you ain't using that. But then the main all that stuff is like, even the fills were kept from that for the album version.
Yeah.
the highlight of this song. I'm gonna play it on guitar. Sorry, I'm gonna play it. Wow. The bit where you get this kind of like a where you turn off one pickup on like a Les Paul style guitar, and
Yeah.
that's great, isn't it?
It's
It's
awesome.
like early Kiss.
Yeah.
What's his name? Ace Frehley used to be all over that.
I think this song, probably more than any other in that kind of time of their career, was highlighted how good like they all are as musicians.
Oh yeah, totally.
They proper nailed it.
I mean, Tico was like playing jazz and stuff back then, and like Cuban stuff as well, and Latin, and he's such a diverse talent. Even at a young age. I mean, it's.
Do you like him?
you should get a tattoo.
I should get a tattoo.
Yeah.
He totally inspired me. Oh, hang on.
There's a lovely bass run at the end of the solo as well. At the end of the last chorus. I don't know whether either of you heard
I
that.
can't remember it.
Yeah, it's really good.
As I was listening back over the album, though, there was so
before
many
it
bass
kicks
bits.
into that brilliant end riff,
Oh, okay.
which
Yeah.
Brett was just doing a lovely bit of singing
Bit
too.
of China going on back in
Oh,
those days as well. I'm banned from using the China nowadays.
yeah, he's making the China cool there, isn't he?
She's still set up in here though. Just when I'm on my own, bit of Tico time.
Oh no! What are you doing in the shower, Brett?
Oh dear.
Favorite vocal moment in this for me is when John does the "Here I come, baby, baby, baby" line,
yeah.
and then puts a scream right at the end of it. You just think,
Yes,
that's
yes.
just on
Amazing,
fire.
amazing.
Track 7, "Wild is the Wind."
This song, this is co-written with a couple of big writers, isn't it? Desmond
Yep.
Child and
Polly Knight.
Is it her or what's the other one? Diane Warren.
Diane Warren.
I reckon it's Diane Warren.
No, I'm pretty sure. No, do you know what it is? You're right.
Oh,
You're right.
Oh, whoa. Say it again.
Super fan, isn't he, Joe?
No, say it again. Say it again.
Yeah, he's a super fan.
He's a super fan.
That's what we'll say. Wild is the Wind.
I'm a student of songwriting.
It was written
I'm
with
not-
Desmond Child and Diane Warren.
Does that mean I'm right?
Yes,
Just
but
I just want to hear it again.
we'll come back to it.
Oh, all right.
I think he's listened to this album more than he's actually
I
let
know.
on, Brett.
No,
I wish I was a bigger
I know
fan
about
as what you are.
Yeah. It must be great to be such a great super fan.
Yeah.
Track 7. So Wild is Wind. So tell us about the acoustic intro, Rick. So
I think it sounds like Simon and Garfunkel. Do you know the song I mean? Oh no, I'm going to get it wrong. El Pasa Condor or El Condor Pasa. Do you know? If
No.
I could, I surely would.
No.
Oh, what? Simon and Garfunkel. I
Send
think
us a
I got it
link.
right. Yeah, I will. We'll put a link in the description. But I think the intro sounds almost exactly like that. It's really reminiscent.
it's a really cool intro, isn't it?
What, the Simon and Garfunkel one or the Bon
No,
Jovi
Wild
version?
is the Wind.
Yeah, I probably know that as well, but I'm not going to.
What's it got in that? He does little harmonic things on a guitar.
Well, yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah, there is his tapped harmonics, which
Mm.
which Eddie Van Halen was all over at that point. It's like tapping the strings at certain points to form a harmonic above the fretted note, which is nice.
Just while we're on the musical kind of direction, is there a key change in the pre-chorus again?
Yes. This
Yes,
was
I
another
thought
one of those
so.
songs when listening to it. I thought it's got one of those cool key
So
changes.
that's something that obviously developed as a bit of a formula for them.
Yeah.
That hitting that pre-chorus but putting the key change in, so it had that kind of lift.
The song's in E minor, isn't it? And I think the chorus is in. Are we going to say A minor, C?
Yeah,
C. I reckon it's C.
C. Yeah. Again, the brilliant bass part.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
quite like.
really
I quite
good.
listening back. It's obviously quite. It's a song of its time, production wise and lyrically and all of that. But it's a sort of good 80s pop song. I think there's a song in there that is just a lot of them are, but
It's one of my favourites
yeah,
on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild is the Wind, and
Yeah.
it weirdly not one that they did live very often.
really
Yeah, it was certainly
not big with those pizza people that you're on about, the pizza parlor
Well,
people.
Well, it must have been quite big because it made the album, but it wasn't one that they felt they needed to do live. But
Okay.
yeah, which is but great song.
Great song.
There's a really cool stop, isn't there, as well, going into the last chorus where the whole band stopped for the word baby,
Yeah.
which is really cool. My favourite vocal moment on this is, in fact, the vocals on all of this song are really good, but the line "too weak, too proud, too tough to say,"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and the way it changes into the second pre-chorus is very, very powerful. Track 8, Ride Cowboy Ride.
I didn't realise I'd forgotten until I re-listened to the album that there's the kind of fake needle
Mono.
dropping on the vinyl, isn't
Yeah.
there? And it's all the
Yeah.
record crackle over the top of it.
Yeah, I believe it was recorded in mono,
It
though.
says that on the album.
Does it?
It says recorded in mono.
It's it's 4 chords and a song about being a cowboy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, listening back to it, always loved it, when I was younger, but listening back to it in the context of the album, it feels like it was there to serve as an introduction
Unless
to
you
the
listen to it
next
on
song.
cassette, Joe, is what I had. Was it Tails Off side 1 of the cassette?
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
No, it can't do.
No,
That's
it's
like
too
3
far in
quarters
the
of the way of the
I'm
album.
sure it did.
No,
That must have been a moody cassette. It wasn't a proper
You're hang on a
What
minute.
track
If you've
we
got
on
an
here
illegal
now?
cassette,
This is track 8, Ride Cowboy Ride.
so you got it wouldn't be there.
Blood on Blood. Oh, that's confused me.
It would be around Blood on Blood, surely.
Yeah, maybe Blood on Blood was.
Oh,
Oh.
there we
Oh,
are.
God.
So what we've learned so far is that I'm a
not a
bigger
super
fan than
fan like
Brett.
you.
Oh
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You can get the Richie Sambora tattoo next week.
Has he got He Who Dares Wins or something? Or am I thinking of Only Fools and
Yeah,
Horses?
you might be.
Oh no.
Yeah, Fools and Horses.
I don't know what to
so
say
it's-
about. I don't know what to say about.
They're easily
Ride
muddled up,
Cowboy
aren't they?
Ride.
I think Ride Cowboy Ride is a part of. It's a part of this picture that John
It's
has.
a prelude to Stick to Your Guns.
It is a prelude to
yeah,
Stick to Your Guns, but he has this this thing where he likes to write as a
Cowboy.
Yeah, as a cowboy,
Mm-hmm.
feeling like a modern day cowboy, which obviously started with Wanted, Dead or Alive, and I think it's a part of that picture.
and when it does go into that next song, it's like
Because there's
it's almost part
there's
of the
not
intro,
much of
isn't
a
it?
pause, is
isn't-
there?
Yeah.
Do you think the rest of the band and management all weren't very keen on this, and that's why he went off and did a solo album where he could do a whole album on it?
Maybe.
You are not a god.
So you've got to drop the cowboy stuff. And he's like, right, that's it. I'm going to do one on my own then about cowboys.
Why
Yeah,
did you pull the trigger and find out?
You're right in there.
started him off.
You talking to your arm?
All right, trigger.
Do you know what my favourite vocal part of this song is? Ride Cowboy Ride. It's only like a minute.
Are we still
and a half.
talking about it?
Yeah.
Go on.
It's all of it.
Oh, okay.
It's all of it. It's John and Richie, and this
Yeah.
song, obviously the mono recording and the scratches and kind of cover it up, but it just showcases how good they were together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, track 9, Stick to Your Guns.
I bet I can play the intro part of that as well. I won't. Is this the one with da-da-da, do-do-do-do-do?
F sharp to G. Do-do-do.
This reminds me of Access All Areas. The start of this song.
Yeah.
It goes into it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's that kind of. I can't remember what point of the video it plays this.
This bit. Where does it go?
That's the part.
It's a bit where
no,
there's
I
the-
do.
Look at the old
know
super
it.
fan in there. Like,
I think they're in the
I don't
coach
like Bon
driving
Jovi.
along.
I know all their songs though.
Yeah, well, I can't help it, can I? You played it so much.
This song is
crept in.
This song is a
Never
reason
sat
I went
down to
out to
learn it.
get a set of chime bells as well as a
Was
young
it really?
brother. My kick grew and grew and grew, and yeah, I had a set of chime bells. after
As your love for Tico grew
Yeah.
and grew, your kit followed suit.
everything grew around Tico.
Including the cabasa.
Yeah,
Did he use the? No, he didn't use the capacitor.
not in this. That was a bit later on. What else, Tico? MTV.
What?
That's miraculous.
You've gone mental.
Maracas.
What I'm thinking of is Alec John Such in Wanted, Dead or Alive. Always had the capacitor, so in the doom, ding, ding, that's right. Yeah, that's
I bet I can play the intro to that as well.
that's a different album.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, of
Yeah.
course it is, yeah. Stick to Your Guns, I thought it's a bit of an album track in it. I bet they didn't play that a lot live.
I don't think they did.
No.
I think it's one of those that it's like a fan favorite that's appeared a couple of times over the years, but
Yeah.
certainly never in heavy rotation in the set. As you say, it's kind of like it's a solid album track, isn't it?
You wouldn't want the album without it, though, would you? I mean, it's part of it, isn't it? It's part of
Yeah.
the glue.
Yeah, totally. There's one bit that, we'll go back to Tico, Brett. that he does in this, where on the where it hits the last chorus and the stick to your guns, and he hits a crash cymbal. It's really nicely placed. It's on like the snare beat.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it in any other chorus in any other place because I had to go back and listen. But it's just like it's little touches like that that just make you think he's just really
musical.
Yeah, just serving the song in such a such a cool way. Favorite vocal moment?
Oh, I don't know.
Ain't nobody riding shotgun in this world tonight.
Hey boy, and he goes, "Hey boy."
Yeah, if you listen to how he sings the word shotgun, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and then hey boy, you better stand your ground. Those two words are strong, really strong. Track 10, I'll Be There For You. This was another #1 single in the US.
Was it?
It was. So Rick, talk to me about the intro.
What do you want to know?
What's going on?
Do you want to know if I can play it?
What? No.
I bet I can play it.
What's the sound that you hear before the guitar comes in? Is it electric and acoustic? What's going on?
It's a sitar and a clean tone electric guitar, isn't it? I reckon.
Is that what's giving you that kind of...
That's the fading in is a sitari drone, I think, if I remember right. I'm going to be wrong, and I write in if I got it wrong. But I think it's certainly a sitar and a guitar.
It sounds like that kind of
it's doubled kind of sitar and a guitar.
Doubled, yeah. I could tell it was doubled. Just couldn't work out what was what. What this song to me reminds me of kind of a blues, like an old blues song where you've got the vocal that says a line,
and then the guitar interplay. Yeah, it's very, very, very like Hendrixy, isn't it? It's got those Curtis Mayfield style like fills in between, which are really, really reminiscent of Hendrix. Yeah, and he'd do that obviously singing and then filling in a ballady moment. And
this song was written by John and Ritchie.
You can say song was of course written by Jimi Hendrix.
No, I'm not sure he was. No.
Oh, it's but in a cool way. I'm not being derogatory. I think the guitar fills in the verse are really cool. And it's nice to hear that bluesy side, which he then later did in solo stuff.
I actually think Ritchie shines quite a lot on this song because his vocal is very prominent in this.
And to me, it sounds like more like his tone and his approach is more like what he did on These Days, which is the album I wanted to do today instead of this one.
Yes, the guitar tone in the chorus is almost clean, isn't it?
It's just
compared to a lot of the other stuff.
Broken, clean, crunchy sound going on as opposed to that quite heavily saturated 80s, which is cool. But
how was this one for you, Brett?
Oh, I love it. I just love it. I just love the tempo and that what he gives the song, and what he doesn't play and what he does play and how he serves it.
Oh no, we're on about Tico, aren't we?
We're on about Tico.
Talking about Tico.
Yeah, there's that famous fill that I say it's not a famous fill. It's a fill that I remember as a kid when I first heard the album, and I got my cake tins out and my knitting needles, and it's such a thing of my youth when I hear that.
Is that the one going into the first chorus?
It's the one. That one, and it was always that sticks out as a
cake tin favourite.
Cake
tin classic.
There we go.
This has got a key change as well, hasn't it? I reckon.
Yeah.
What do you think? I think the verse is in E minor, and then the chorus is in D major.
It's got two key changes. I thought you were talking about the big one at the end.
Oh no, not that. I meant the changing from verse into chorus thing.
Yeah, there's definitely a lift, isn't there, in the chorus? But this is a smooth key change.
Smooth. Yeah, the verse is around there.
Yeah.
And then there's those cool. I don't know if I can do.
You get there. It goes to A, doesn't it? Going into the chorus.
All of those.
That sounds like you're going to go into something different.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh no, have I forgotten it? There's loads of that going on.
Yeah, we can't quite hear you.
This is the one with the big famous harmonic vocal.
This was the one I took to my singing teacher and said, "Come on, I want to do that."
There's not many moments in music that you hear and you think that is just very, very special. And in a time before we have all the digital ways of enhancing and making sounds nowadays, I mean that's just and a organic vocal that's just been. It's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
My guitar was out of tune. It was a good job you didn't hear it.
That's lucky for everyone.
The chorus is definitely a D.
Yes, it is.
Can you hear that D chord?
Yeah. And it key changes in the last chorus to E, doesn't it? It goes up to E.
Although it's got I'm going to turn the amp on because you can't hear me. The chorus has got a cool that rock thing of doing where it goes.
You were going to sing then.
I was going to sing, and then I realised I'm not Richie. That
Yeah.
That flat 7 chord.
Yeah, it's
there.
it's a nice change, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really accentuates that chorus line. I'll be there for you.
And a borrowed modal interchange chord for all of you, fans out there, Brett.
He's asleep.
Oh, sorry.
He nodded off when you.
Do you want me to turn the guitar up?
How's that guitar stand doing?
I'll turn that
It's looking
guitar
lonely down there, Rick. It's looking like it needs a friend.
So
your sticks have fit on it nicely.
Prick. Oh.
So this key change at the end, then they key change to E, and I mean it's a big lift.
It's a big lift, isn't
Big
it?
lift, but I can't help but thinking they did that, then heard it back when it was finished and thought, what did we do that for? We got to sing that live, which they never did. They never did the key change.
Oh, I was going to say, did they drop the whole song?
They may have done the key change when it first came out on the New Jersey tour, but it's certainly not. They play the song a lot now, and Richie sings it. It's one of those songs where John has a break and Richie takes the mic.
Really?
It doesn't anymore because
Yeah.
he's not in the band.
2013.
Well, not since, yeah. All right,
Shall we
10
move
years
on
ago.
because we're
Let's move on.
We're pushing 3 hours.
Well, if you stop bringing your guitar up, we'd be finished
Well, I was just trying to give it some musical reference and show you that I've listened to it. Not that I wanted to.
a million
just add it
times
on,
by the sounds of it.
Super
I
fan.
did. See,
Track 11, 99 in the Shade.
this sounds like early Bon Jovi to
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
Yep, I
Yeah.
totally agree. This would be very, very, very at home on the first 2 records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This song.
Yeah. And the best thing in it is the pinched harmonics, the
Yes.
little squealy harmonics in the verse. They're great, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you want to do them,
You're
Rick?
not gonna do
No,
them,
I'm
are
not
you?
now. I'll put the guitar back in the stand. Not
Right.
picking that up
I
again.
think I heard some hand claps in this as well in the last chorus.
Probably.
Oh, yeah,
If you listen to it, but it's kind of got that like party, like everyone's having a great time
Yeah.
vibe, isn't it?
There's a
That's
little
why-
that vibe about it. There's a little bit of Van Halen about that with it.
yeah,
That kind of like
like early Van Halen.
yeah, Summer Nights, or even the first Van Halen album with Sammy Hagar with Summer Nights on it and all of that.
Yeah.
Lyrically, the vibe more so than tempo or musicality or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, probably the squealed pinched harmonics, isn't it? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Sounds
My
like Eddie
favourite
Van Halen.
vocal moment on this one is the first word
Well,
is the I.
oh
He comes in with an I. It's just like it's great.
yeah,
It's really good. It's a really strong intro to the vocal. Track 12, Love for Sale.
Oh, you know what? I just realised I left me brushes at home.
That's probably a good thing.
Oh no.
Oh, I really wanted to. I wanted to just have a little bit of Tico time.
Maybe you can do that when we've all gone.
Yeah.
I've got some hot rods. Oh, no. Maybe they were hot rods that we used.
So this song was in the credits. This was recorded and engineered at Chalet Sound in New Jersey.
Was it?
Yes, by Chris Cavallaro.
Do you think it really was, or do you think they just made it?
Well,
they dumbed
no.
it down a bit to make him sound
When
all
you read
authentic and
between
real.
the lines, that is where they recorded all of the pre-production demos
Oh, okay.
with the same guy, which makes you think, well,
This
it was
a
obviously recorded as a pre-production demo, but
And they
there was
kept
something in it that they liked.
So is it the whole we got to go home now and we're all a bit drunk, that sort of thing? Do you think that was real, or do you think they were just hamming that up a bit for?
That was
at
one
the
of my
time?
questions for you two. Do you,
Richie
and the
sounds
listener.
absolutely mullered, doesn't he?
I can't decide
Well-
whether that was rehearsed, the bit between John and Richie at the end, or whether it was.
I
whether
think
it
it's
was-
rehearsed.
You do.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
It's good though.
I didn't say it's bad. I'm just saying it's
I
rehearsed.
gotta
and-
go home.
And we'll
Yeah,
just
that
say the
says
album's done
yeah.
that sort of bit. It's an 8-bar blues. Did you know this song?
Is it?
Well, the verse bit is 8-bar blues pattern.
Yeah.
As opposed to the 12-bar blues.
Yes, the more common form. 8-bar blues is used quite a bit in jazz.
Oh,
Oh, you're right. What happened there?
We could almost go into it, you know.
I thought it was a
What a
bit of
way
Tico
what a
time.
way to tail off the podcast.
A bit of Tico time.
Tico time. Do you- oh god.
Go on, beat your guitar at Rick. Go
it's-
on.
I'm not playing it because
No.
every time I know something, you two call me an
Well,
Uber
that's because
fan.
you're a super fan. Do you two feel this is it's very different from the rest of the record?
Massively.
Yeah,
Why do you think they did that?
A celebration, maybe? Like I don't know.
just
Putting it to bed.
that was done quite a lot at that period, wasn't it? To put acoustic tracks on, to put acoustic tracks that weren't all produced as well. Was that a thing at that period?
Well,
Just to kind of break up, because it's a very slick 80s rock stuff's very slick production. There's a lot going on.
do you think? I mean,
Do you think that
do you
sort of grounds
think
it?
it's kind of their because the lyrics are very kind of funny,
Silly.
silly,
Yeah.
but catchy. Do you think it was the kind of their humorous side that they wanted to share with people to kind of it makes them like feel more, when
Personable.
more personable.
It was
Yeah.
used a lot,
Yeah,
wasn't
maybe.
it? Live on the tour.
That's because it's easy to play on acoustic guitars, isn't it?
When they did HMV and stuff, didn't they? They had
That's because you can't do those squeal harmonics on an acoustic guitar, can you?
Love. All that stuff that they added onto the live version.
Yeah.
You can't hear this in acoustic versions when you go.
Rick,
Can't hear
who? No, we can't hear it, thankfully.
Should I turn the amp on again?
No, it's time to go. Let's just say the
Let's just
podcast
say
is done.
I gotta go home. Oh, come on, man.
I had a few
Rick,
beers.
Who was it that misheard that lyric and you should see my llama? Who was it?
I don't
Was
know.
it one of our friends growing up that completely misheard it?
You should see my llama. It's a better line. If he'd have said you should see my llama, I'd have believed they were drunk.
Also, I think
Not that being drunk's a good thing. It's just being real's, I think, a good thing.
I think John deserves a mention for his harmonica playing in this, which is really good.
Yeah.
And I always think it's a shame that he never really played harmonica much, like after this album.
Wait, what did acting fill that void?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
What's the
Maybe.
bigger shame is that we're getting to the end of the podcast and I'm gutted. So I want to.
Well, it's
Well,
you- I
we
think-
have to because there's only so much disc space
I think
here.
there's only one way we can end this podcast,
I've
Brett.
not quoted anything from Access All Areas or anything. Yet.
That's probably a good thing.
That's because we're doing the album, not the DVD.
And once you start,
film.
you tend to not stop.
Oh,
It's like reliving it again
yeah.
and again. So I think we should let you sign off with the best vocal line on the song. Tico's last one.
You
don't
make
know
someone
it.
a beautiful wife.
Okay. Love for sale.
Let's just say the podcast is done.
Thanks for listening.
Please check out our band, Damn the Wolves.
Find us at damnthewolves.com and please follow us on all the usual socials.